Well, the Haitian gangs have been using different tactics to stay ahead of the security agencies in the country. And by the security agencies, we mean the Haitian National Police, the Haitian Army, and the MSS mission in Haiti. We have seen attacks being waged on these gang leaders, and they have escaped by a whisker, as a report from the MSS mentioned just the other day that there is a high profile leader that escaped by a whisker. Well, that means that the advanced strategies that these gang leaders and gang members are putting up against the police are sometimes working to their favor, as it enables these leaders to escape the wrath of the MSS, the Haitian National Police, or the Haitian Army. So in this video, we are going to discuss about these strategies that are being employed by the Haitian gangs to stay ahead of the Haitian security agencies. Well, perhaps the most lethal of the strategies that these gangs are using are boring holes in apartments and firing at the security agencies as they try to pacify these regions. Well, it might seem as a very backward thing to do, or a very uncivilized things to do, but that strategy is really giving the security agencies in the country a headache, because they don't have air support. And when these security forces do not have air support, when someone bores a hole in an apartment and start firing at you, it becomes a fortification of some sort that they have, and they have an advantage over you because you are on land, they are up high above, they can see you from very far, and sometimes it is hard for you to see them coming. So that strategy has really worked to the favor of the gangs. It has weakened to some extent the security agencies in Haiti, because it is hard for them to get out of these armored vehicles to fight while they are fighting someone who, first, is very hard to spot, and second, it's very hard to neutralize, because when they bore a hole in that building or apartment, they are behind the wall, and it is very hard for the security agencies to aim and fire at these people. So that strategy has really worked. We have seen police officers in different documentaries complaining about that fact that is happening mostly in Port-au-Prince, because Port-au-Prince is a city. You have buildings everywhere. It is an urban warfare. So when you have such an opponent using the buildings, the abandoned buildings in a particular place, and just boring a hole, putting snouts of the guns there, and firing at you, while sometimes you don't even know where these bullets are coming from, you don't know where your attacker is, it becomes very lethal against the security agencies. And that is one of the heavy strategies that these gangs are using against the police forces. It literally makes them to hold on these regions just because they are an unseen force that is firing against the security agencies while they try to come and pacify these regions. Well, the second strategy that these gangs are increasingly using are digging trenches on roads. When they know that they are going to be under attack, or when they do something and they know that there is going to be some kind of retaliation from the government, because they know that the government does not have air support, then they dig holes along the road, they dig trenches along the road to make sure that they impede the immediate response that the government or the MSS mission is going to make against them. And that was seen in Port Sunday when the MSS mission was going to retaliate against Luxon Ilan, and we saw them digging trenches. We've seen even barbecue in different videos showing their members that they need to dig even wider trenches that will not allow the police officers or the MSS mission to respond to them as fast as they could. Because once you dig a trench, it means that these vehicles, these heavy vehicles, armored vehicles cannot pass. It means that you're going to spend a lot of time to fill up the trenches, and that is the time that these gang members or gang leaders will need to escape that region, or to plan a counterattack as you try to fill up the trenches so that you can pass. So this strategy has been employed by the Haitian gangs, and is sort of delaying the response of the MSS officers, giving time to the Haitian gangs to either strategize or flee a particular area, to go to different regions and terrorize those regions again. So it becomes a cat and mouse game between the Haitian National Police and the Haitian security agencies. And that obviously can be solved through having air support. And that is why the security agencies, the MSS, the Haitian National Police, the Prime Minister has been out of the country asking different countries to assist the Haitian security agencies with equipment, with supplies that includes air support that is going to assist them to have faster responses and attacks to these gangs, even when they are trying to block the roads or dig trenches so that they can impede movement by the security agencies. Well, another strategy that these gangs are using is not physical nor tactical. It is psychological. The gangs are waging a psychological war against the security agencies in the country. And the psychological war is very, very powerful because they are trying to rally the public to oppose the security agencies that are trying to pacify them in these regions. And that I mean by the propaganda that the gangs are using against the security agencies. And we've seen this in different quarters. We've seen this in social media. We've seen this in even the comment section. You'll find people supporting gangs and supporting the gang mentality in Haiti. Well, that is part of the strategy that the gangs are using. It is a psychological warfare that they are trying to put in the minds of people in Haiti and outside Haiti so that they do not support the MSS mission or the security agencies and keep supporting the gangs that are in the country. We have seen people saying that the Kenyan forces are not doing anything, while we have seen videos, we have seen reports, we have seen the Prime Minister himself in Kenya who was asked the same question and said that the Kenyan police are in the streets, they are patrolling the streets, they are fighting against the Haitian gangs. He said that he himself has ever joined the Kenyan police in one of their armored trucks, and they have seen the Kenyan police working, fighting against the gangs in Haiti actively. So this notion that the Kenyan forces are not doing anything in Haiti, that is part of gang propaganda to wage a psychological war against the security forces in the country. That is part of gang propaganda. So that is part of the psychological warfare that the Haitian gangs are waging against the security agencies in the country. They are trying to brand them differently. They are trying to smack them with different names or words that will dampen their spirits and make them to feel as if they are not giving enough. And so that in one way or another, the Haitian gangs will be winning if the security agencies do not have the high morale to fight them in these territories that they are holding. Well, lastly, the Haitian gangs are using roadside attacks as new ways of spreading fear in community. Well, the aspect of fear is heavily used by the gangs as a means of rallying support from the locals or making the locals not to be collaborative with the Haitian security agencies. The use of roadside attacks has been seen in Post-Sunday, where they are impeding movement from one region to another, or the locals have to pay hefty fees to the gangs so that they can pass to a particular region, thus enabling the gangs to grow even more and replenishing the accounts of these gangs. We have seen the MSS and the Haitian National Police taking part in clearing bushes along the major highways. That includes the National Road 1, where we saw the MSS actively and the Haitian National Police clearing bushes along the roads to make it open for anyone who intends to do ill will to be seen from a distance. We've also seen the Kenyan police and the Haitian National Police patrolling major highways to make sure that these gang leaders or gang members are not affecting the travels of the Haitian from point A to point B. So the attacks from the roadsides have become another way that these gangs are terrorizing the citizens, because they know that these cities are increasingly having security officers patrolling them every now and then. Well, after the incident that happened in Post-Sunday, there has been increasingly patrols in these major towns and cities. So these gangs are using alternative routes and alternative means to attack the society when they are traveling by the roadside where there is little security, so that they can replenish their accounts, so that they can pay their gang members to continue with their gang activities in Haiti. Well, these are some of the strategies that the gangs are using to stay ahead of the security agencies in Haiti, but a lot is still being done from the security agency side. They are also adapting to these new strategies. As we've seen, they're starting to clear the major highways, the bushes alongside the major highways. We have seen them also starting to use drone to see up high above what is happening in these buildings. If there are people who are trying to attack, we are seeing the international community coming together. Just the other day, we saw that El Salvador will also be involved in this fight. So the support from the international community will mean that there will be a likeliness that there will be supplies given to Haiti to fight these gangs, and that will mean that the security agencies will eventually be ahead of the game, and it is possible that the war can be won if a lot of supplies are given to the security agencies and the deployment of troops from different countries as they had pledged to support the multinational security support mission in Haiti.